So we got a caller here. Let's see what we got. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
No, really? Are you talking to me?
Is this my friend Joe?
It sure is.
Joe Virgona, how are you, my friend? How are you doing this evening? Thank you for calling in.
Okay, I'm a little nervous, but
you've got nothing to be nervous about. You're just talking to me. Hey, so I've been telling everybody this it's a really terrific story, and I'm going to have it up on Project Woodhaven this weekend. But basically, I'll start it off, and then you can correct me where I go wrong and tell people the story. There was two plaques outside of St. Thomas, right by the statue, and inside the gate, and there were dedications to our veterans, to our war dead. And what was it made out of, the plaque?
What do you mean? They were made out of bronze.
Bronze. Okay. So one of them was stolen a number of years back, a couple years ago. And you take it up from there, Joe.
Well, let's see. It was stolen, I'd say, about 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And things was just nothing was done. And I finally, about a year ago, I decided, let's see what we could do to get the story. I mean, to get the plaques, restarted again, because after all, it was dedicated to all the young men who died during World War II. They all lived in Woodhaven.
Mm-hmm.
So I started digging through all my photographs that I've taken over the years now. But each year we would have a memorial mass on Veterans Day.
Uh-huh.
And I would take pictures of, the people gathered out there praying, and the priest would be.
So they used to gather outside right by that statue, and they used to pray near the plaques.
Right. We used to gather out there after mass and have a little prayers there, and that was it. So I would take pictures of the crowd, and I'd always get a picture of the plaques again. But now, as I started looking through all these pictures, I said to myself, wait a minute. Every time I've taken pictures, this one plaque always had a couple of flowers blocking a couple of the names.
Uh-huh.
I said, that's no good. So I finally did enough digging, and I found a picture that I actually saw all the names that were missing. So I wrote them down. And because, the church had no record of the names that were on there, because this plaque was most likely put up after 1945.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's do something. Now I'm going to do something. So I went on the internet and did a Google and Googled bronze plaques or something like that.
Uh-huh.
The first name that popped up was an outfit called International Bronze. And I saw that they were locally, in the sense that they were out in Albertson, New York. So I said, gee, they're close by. They had a 516 area code number. So I gave them a call, and they said, yeah, send us the picture, and we'll give you a quote. So I sent a copy of the pictures that I took, and lo and behold, when I got the email, I called back a few days later, and they said, hey, that's one we made.
Now that's just absolutely remarkable. Now, out of all the places that you could pick, the first place you pick on the internet is the same place that did the original plaque. Now, how did they know? I guess they could recognize their style, or?
Yeah, they did. No, I think they did recognize the fact that the way it was made and the style itself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but now all their records were lost there. I said, do you have any records showing when it was made or stuff like that? And she said, no. So anyway, I got a quote. They said, no problem as far as money is concerned. And then I had to start, it must have been about a month and a half before they finally had it made up. But luck is, I finally did get it all made up and came back last week, so just give us about a week since before my Veterans Day, and that's it. We got it.
It's really very, very beautiful. I mean, it was a nice ceremony. They're going to install it so folks know on the inside when you walk into St. Thomas, that first there's that wall, and I had never noticed this before. I mean, when you walk in, you glance up and you see the paintings on the wall, but sometimes you don't really look that closely. And the one on the right, Jesus is holding onto a soldier, and that's a beautiful painting on the wall there.
And then now, if you look at that thing closely, now surprisingly enough, very few people over all these years have ever noticed that there were paintings on those two walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, basically, it's because when people come into church, they walk right into church. They don't sit or stand in the vestibule to see what's cooking there.
Right.
In fact, they don't even look at the bulletin boards with all the notices on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the pictures itself is fantastic because if you look at it very closely, you will also see an image of the church itself, the outside of the church.
Of St. Thomas the Apostle.
St. Thomas the Church. And up above it, there is this triangle with we used to call it the eye.
Yeah, the eye, yes.
And nobody ever noticed that. As a matter of fact, I never even looked that high. And it wasn't until this good friend of mine, Mario Brienza, had taken a fantastic picture of the paintings that I was able to see all the details.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's up, and I think it's going to keep the pastor happy. And a lot of people are going to be happy about it, and I'm sort of proud of the fact that I managed to push this thing and push it through to the end.
No, you did a wonderful job, Joe. I mean, you carried it through, and it looks great, and it's in its rightful spot now. It's inside where it belongs, where it's safe, and we'll tell this story because it's just a remarkable story.